Welcome everybody to this first ever episode of Disney Animated and Remake. I am your lovely host, Miss Disney. I hope everybody's having a pretty decent couple weeks. I hope everybody stays safe. I really do applaud those that are considered essential workers. I hope that you continue working hard while at the same time being safe. I myself am truly gratified because, as most of y'all don't know, my husband, Mr. Disney, is actually an electrician, so his work is essential and it allows him to be out in the field and just continue providing lights. He even works in hospitals half the times, which is awesome. Anyway, I hope you're excited because our first episode is one that's been around since 1996, and it was actually really ahead of its prime. You don't know it? If you haven't looked at the title, then maybe my little special guest of honor will be able to provide you a little bit of a better clue. Everyone, I want you to meet Lucky. This is my little puppy Lucky. See, he's got his little horseshoe. Hi, Lucky. Yeah. Everybody want to say hi? You still don't know? Really? Lucky, they don't know what movie you're from. Maybe I should give him another hint, don't you think? Oh, come on. I'm pretty sure they want to, don't you think? Okay. Well, then maybe this song will be able to jog your memory. You'll have to excuse me. Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil, if she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. To see her is to take a sudden chill. Look out for Cruella de Vil. You get it now? Awesome! That is 101 Dalmatians. And like I said, this 101 Dalmatians was actually ahead of its prime to the 1961 101 Dalmatians. Now, I have to say, when the live action came out, I was like 6 years old when this happened. So I remember this movie quite a bit. And I have to say, growing up, every time this was on, I wanted to watch it. Put it this way, I loved it so much, it came to the point where the tape would be unreused again. Yes, so it's safe to say that I have watched this movie bunches of times from the time that it came out. And I have to say that I prefer the live action more than the animated. And here's why. Because not only this lovely woman, Glenn Close, played Cruella de Vil. Quite honestly, I've only seen her in like 2 other movies. 3, but we'll get to that part later. And every time I see her, she is like an awesome villain. I know that she probably doesn't play villains very often in any other films or TV shows that she's in, but she did a badass job on this. She probably did a much better job than the animated one. No offense to the one that actually voiced Cruella de Vil in 1961. You were awesome and you still are awesome. But Glenn Close, she is the ultimate Cruella de Vil. Oh, Lucky, where'd you go? Oh, see, Lucky even is still scared of her. How awesome is that? But the reason why I love this is because comparing the 1961 to 1996, there was a lot of there was quite a number of changes and a lot of backstory. Like the fact we all know that Cruella de Vil was a fashionista. She was all about the fashion. She was all about the fur. But there was a reason why. It finally explained in 1996. This Cruella de Vil, she owned pretty much a model agency type of fashion job. And she used this fur as part of her lineup, and she's always thinking of new designs, and it's like these furs actually provided an inspiration for her. And the fact is that we knew for a fact that Anita and Cruella were friends before the start of the movie, but the live action, the remake, actually went more into depth. It's actually they were longtime friends, and apparently when Cruella went up in big, Anita was provided a job through her. So that's how she was able to work for Cruella DeVille and provided indirectly and not knowing, she did provide the inspiration of Cruella DeVille stealing 101 Dalmatians to provide for her fur coat. So that was awesome. They did provide a more detailed background, and I have to say the movie was actually more funny than 1961 because we never heard the dogs talk at all. That's the one difference about this movie. And let's face it, was in the 90s, they didn't exactly have an idea of allowing real life dogs to talk yet, or real life animals really, up to unlike this time where the Lion King. But we will get into Lion King later. The fact is, it made it even more funny, the fact that we could not hear the animals speak at all. In fact, it was more towards their actions. In the beginning, Pongo, we saw Pongo being like this motherly type of figure where he was woken up by an alarm clock. He had to get up, make breakfast, get Roger up, and get the milk. Pretty resourceful, don't you think, for a dog? These dogs are very smart. I mean, I know they're trained and everything, but in the movie, it makes it seem like the dogs actually do have a human brain, just like in 1961. Same with Perdita. Perdita showed when Perdita was even before Perdita was expecting her puppies, she developed a sense of disdain and very heartbroken to when there was news about animals being captured or stolen from zoos. And as it turns out, Corella's Goonies, there we go, would actually steal them. She would have I don't know what they're called, but they're kind of like fur people where they skin them and stuff. She has the animal skin, and they would give the fur to Cruella DeVille for to make her fashion. Kind of messed up, don't you think? But that's what I love about this movie. And you gotta understand from a 6-year-old's point of view, it wasn't just, I did not know about these things. I was more on the line towards the fact that these dogs were hilariously funny based on their actions. When Pongo met Perdita, he did all that he could to drag Rogers everywhere. And then it came to the point where Pongo basically got released, and the bike that Roger was riding hit a bench and he landed in the pond. These two elderly ladies were like, I didn't think he wanted to do that. That's what I love about these the old 1990s remakes. The fact that this movie was ahead of its prime, and I think it's because of this movie that it inspired to recreate a lot of classic movies. The best part about these remakes is that it creates backstory. It creates the funnies most of the time. It also created stuff that we didn't know the animated could do. You have to understand, this was animated. This was way before our time. I mean, this was the 60s. There was a lot of stuff going on, a lot of historical stuff. You don't believe me? Refer to your history books, or even, I guess nowadays, go check online. You'll find out. Oop, I touched my hand. Nobody touched me. We're safe. Anyway, referring back. Yeah, so we actually got a lot more in depth with the remake of it, and the fact is that the puppies were so adorable and so real. There were very minor CGI stuff in there. Like, if you watch the 96 movie, you'll get my gist of what exactly was considered CGI, but 90% of the time, I do believe, was all real dogs train everything, even the other animals that were trained. That being said, the success of the remake of 101 Dalmatians was so incredible that it created 102 Dalmatians, a sequel. Granted, this came out like 4 years after the first remake of it, but still, it continued on. It continued on, and look how adorable. This is Oddball, by the way. You don't believe me that's Oddball? I have to be sorry, my Oddball is, oh, she speaks. I forgot that I pressed her button. Sorry, Oddball's a little dirty. I've had Oddball since I was 10 years old. She has been my companion throughout all things, and I mean all things from my dentist trips to my surgeries. I would show you how, but it's kind of gross, and I really do need to clean her up. I am so sorry, Oddball, but fact is I still have her after all these years. It really shows that this movie really was the best that I've ever seen. And to be fair, I didn't think it was a Disney movie. I saw that it was 101 Dalmatians. 102 Dalmatians was the sequel of it. I was like, ooh, I wonder if it's related to Disney. I didn't know at the time. I just saw that it was funny. It was adorable. And you got a cute little dog that never got spots. Well, mine does. See, got a little couple of spots there. My point being, it was successful. Success to the point where the sequel was made. And the best part is that Glenn Close came back as Cruella de Vil. Now, this one took place quite a number of years after the original story, and it features one of the 15 puppies from Pongo and Perdita's litter that became a father, and he, with another maid, Dottie, and actually produced 3 more dogs. Let's see if I remember. It was Domino, it was Oddball, and Little Dipper. That's it, Little Dipper. Sorry, I know I'm not exactly 100% of an expert of Disney, but you gotta understand that there was literally a lot of Dalmatians. You literally had to remember a lot of Dalmatians, and the fact is that how are they related to each other, and how many were not related to each other, and everything. But the remake was, I love still 102 Dalmatians. It was adorable, and I love the fact that it continued with Cruella de Vil. It made it seem like it was all about Cruella de Vil, and in some sense it was. This happened right after she was in jail. She got treatment to where she was cured of not wanting puppies for the purpose of creating for anything, and it was successful. It even got to the point where she was allowed to be around dogs. And the funny part is that her probation officer just happens to be the owners of Dipstick, one of Pongo's puppies, and Oddball's father. Strange coincidence, yes? Not in the world of Disney. I mean, come on. This was all planned out, and we all know that. And then eventually something triggered. I won't tell you what if you've never seen it before, but something triggered to where Cruella de Vil snapped. She came back to herself. But she did it in secret. Nobody knew that she was back to normal. She did all that she could to get her revenge. This was all about Cruella's revenge. I think, in all honesty, they should have changed it to 101 Dalmatians. Cruella's Revenge. But I'm not the creator of the title. But either way, it was awesome. It was adorable. And it featured a talking parrot who thought he was a dog. Oh, my goodness. So, obviously, I favored the remakes of 101 Dalmatians more than the animated one, but I am still respectful of the animation because it was adorable. We actually got an insight of what dogs really think. I mean, for crying out loud, our animals don't talk unless they get the old from those cats. You know what I'm talking about. I was just watching it not too long ago. Because you never know. That's the best part about these creative movies is that you get an insight of what the dogs are actually feeling. I mean, for crying out loud, the dogs call us humans their pets. To be fair, we do call them our pets too, so there's a lot of fairness. But at least, I have to honestly say, between the both movies, they really stick it together with the whole idea of the story. You got a crazy woman who wants the fur coats of Dalmatians, same thing as this. You also have two parents, well, not really parents, two adults who have a connection with these dogs, and they had no idea exactly what the plan was. I mean, in hindsight, in the 96, Anita finally realizes it after she was fired by Cruella de Vil because Anita wouldn't sell her the puppies. And it finally dawned on her why she wanted the dogs to make the fur coat. She wanted a fur coat out of Dalmatians. Messed up as it is. Oh my goodness. Sorry, my face is getting a little red because this is the first episode. But honestly, I think this was the main reason that remakes are starting to happen. Because as much as animation is still a big part of our lives, it's nice to actually see that a lot of new generations get to go back to the old times, but in a new, different way. Because let's face it, the animation, it does tell a story, but there's so many questions. Like, what I've watched this movie bunches of times, and watching it, I never understood why Cruella de Vil wanted these dogs. I mean, I knew it had something to do with their furs, but what exactly is she trying to make with the furs? And that's what I love about the remake is the fact that they're actually explains a little bit further, and that's what the great thing about these remakes. I think I'm just having a flashback of my own childhood movie. And the fact is, I'm also distracted because one of my cats is staring at a door behind me, and you never know when Mr. Disney might pop out of nowhere. Hey! Nope. Okay, we're good. Ha! A little distracted. Whew. So there you have it, folks. The first ever live-action remake of a Disney movie is 101 Dalmatians. By far, my best childhood movie that was not animated. And I really recommend to those that are curious about it. And here's the best part of it. Be curious about this movie. Be curious about this one. And this one. Upside down. Because guess what? In May 2021, assuming everything is back to normal after all this chaos or crisis, they're doing a prequel / spin-off of 101 Dalmatians that features Cruella de Vil. And the movie is going to be called, as you guessed it, Cruella. This prequel / spin-off tells the story of how Cruella came to be. We get to learn more about Cruella. How awesome is these remakes coming to be? They're actually getting more and more in-depth. Cruella de Vil is one of the favorite, and I mean favorite, Disney villains of all times. And if you don't believe me, watch Descendants. Cruella de Vil is one of the parents of her own child. One of the top 4, I should say. Honestly, not my top 4, but apparently to the world of Descendants it is. Anyway, it's great. I mean, for crying out loud, Cruella's having her own sequel, just like, not sequel, bleh, her own movie, just like Maleficent did. We get to know more about Cruella de Vil, what made her to be. I mean, we know for a fact that in the remake she was a fashionista, or still is, from both films. She also had her own fashion company. We finally understood why she was stealing puppies in order to create fur coats, which is something they never explained in the animation. And that's what I love about this. Whew. Yes, I express love so much. This was literally one of my childhood non-animated movies. And honestly, get psyched about this. If you have never seen it, look it up. I guarantee you that it was awesome. So I believe, I'm looking at my timer. I'm actually 5 minutes more than I originally wanted, but that is okay. I had a lot to say. Tune in, and I should have mentioned this. I apologize for being a day late on my schedule. It is mainly because, I am a college student, so a lot of my courses are online, and it's just been crazy. I had to focus on my first assignments ever. So tune in next time where we get to view another Disney Animated and Remake. What will it be? You'll find out. Tune in next time. Bye.